Okay, so this is what I've got done so far since the last video. I got the passenger side fender removed and still have to do the driver's side. And it's a lot of rust damage. Of course, I mean, the whole thing's rusty. Most of the frame seems pretty solid up here. Of course, I'm going to have to redesign all this for the mounts for the V8. And might replace this cross member. Might not. We'll see. And have to figure out how to convert these brakes to disc brake. I don't know if the early Ford spindles are same. There's, kits readily available for them. Don't know if the bolt spacing for the spindles is the same or close enough to where I could just make it work, elongate the holes or drill them out or something. It is a Ford wheel spacing for the lug nuts, 5 on 4.5. So that makes it easier, kind of, as far as wheel choice. Like this. The end link, basically what this is for the stabilizer bar. It looks really cool, but I don't know if it's rebuildable. And if it is rebuildable, how do you get it apart? I still have to figure that out. The shocks are basic shocks. Can replace those with something suitable with a stud mount at the bottom and a normal hoop mount at the top, just like truck shocks basically. That will not be an issue. I like how they have this cotter pin that holds them in place. I mean, that's factory, no nuts, just a cotter pin. And have to figure out how to lower it just a little. Really like this suspension design itself because the axle pivots. There's a trailing arm that's connected to the axle, and the leaf springs just kind of float on this pivot mount so that there's like less flexing and less bump steer, and it's just a really neat suspension design. I really like it. I want to keep it. A lot of guys, of course, do the Pinot front ends when they do street rods or whatever, but I want to keep this original front suspension. Just figure out the best way to lower it a couple inches and maybe reverse the leafs or something, or de-arch the springs. I'm not sure. Just drop it a couple inches. Of course, the engine that's going in it will help lower it from stock because it is a little heavier than the original, maybe by a couple 100 pounds. So that's that. And the fender that I took off, gonna have to rebuild a lot of this. This lower edge is all rusted, so I can recreate that though. This mount down here, can't really see in the light. That's all rusted out. Gonna have to rebuild all that. Just a lot of stuff. Fender, yeah, the fenders are pretty straight though. I mean, some cants are down at this side that I'm gonna have to, cut this whole reinforcing piece out and refabricate something, because that's just gonna be best if I don't separate those. The existing rust is just gonna eat through and undo any work that I do. The grill, the bottom part is rusted out. Can you see that? Yeah, bottom part's rusted out, so I'm gonna have to rebuild all that. But it's not bad. Not bad, actually. I love that the stainless is all still intact. That's great. So there's that pile of scrap metal that scrap metal guy's gonna come get hopefully pretty soon. And the HUDSON. like I said, I am going to start on this pretty soon. I got it moved back here. We had a flood a while back, and the water, when the car was parked up front, the water was up to the wheels, top of the wheels. I have pictures of it. The water was like way up here. So it did some damage. It wiped out the starter. I had to put a new starter in it, and the brakes are dragging, and exhaust is making funny noises now, and it doesn't want to accelerate properly. So I'm just wondering if maybe the cat converter, because I do have a cat converter on this from when I was in Vegas. It was not really necessary, but it helped pass the emissions test up there. We don't need it down here, or up here anyway. We don't need emissions tests where I live, which is nice. So I have some issues with getting this running, and we'll get back to that later. So tonight I will get back to doing the rest of this fender, get it off, and since we do finally have a sunny, dry day, which we haven't had in, it seems like, months. This has been one crazy spring. I get to go replace one of the windows on the house that I've been putting off for a couple of years now. So I'm gonna say farewell until the next time. All right, bye-bye.